All right, Arrowverse fans, it's time to take a look at the second episode of the day, which is Tribute. Walking into his office, Oliver is bombarded by journalists eager for his reaction to photos of him as the Green Arrow. After leaving a quick quip, one in which he names dropped the Cape Crusader himself, Bruce Wayne, Oliver instructs Renee to find out who sent the images to the media. Inside his office, Oliver and Lance are approached by FBI Special Agent Watson. She reveals that the FBI is investigating Oliver for his alleged connection to the Green Arrow. At Team Arrow HQ, Felicity, Curtis, Dinah, and Diggle are working hard trying to figure out where the image came from. Renee tells Oliver that the image wasn't sent to the news station from outside. It was leaked by someone inside the station. While at his site with some kind of an economic development group, Oliver and the group were ambushed by a team of gunmen. Oliver and the Arrow managed to escape, only to be stopped outside the warehouse they were visiting. It's clear that the gunmen are part of the Bratva, led by Anatoly. Diggle and Dinah have a conversation. Things are still tense following the events of last week's episode. Felicity and Curtis are working diligently to figure out where the Bratva took the hostages from the group with Oliver and Lance. Curtis discovers a way to follow the trail of cryptocurrency. In Oliver's office, Renee runs in and turns on the TV. The Bratva sent a message to Channel 52 demanding a ransom of $20 million in exchange for hostages. Oliver's phone then rings. William has got into a fight at school. Police beat him up because of the news reports claiming his father is a Green Arrow. Excuse me. In the back of the limo, Oliver tells William to punch the bullies back next time. Felicity calls and tells him they located Anatoly. T-Row converges on the location and begins fighting the guards. After taking out most of them, they realize not all the hostages are there. Renee and Lance are sitting in a meeting room with Special Agent Watson, waiting for Oliver to arrive. Oliver ends up texting Lance to say he can't make it. He has a family emergency. Agent Watson is understandably upset and warns that Renee and Lance could be on the hook for obstruction of justice. Oliver talks with William about the bullying situation at school. His phone rings. It's Anatoly, who had been exiled from the Bratva because his friendship with Oliver made him look weak. Anatoly also needed money. Anatoly had poisoned one of the hostages and offered the antidote in exchange for $20 million. Using a bit of Anatoly's and Oliver's conversation, Team Arrow is able to fuse a facial rash visible in the poisoned hostage to give them the correct antidote on their own. Dinah and Diggle go to the hospital to obtain the antidote. After the doctor leaves the room, Diggle reveals that he was hit by shrapnel during the explosions in Lian leaving him with nerve damage, which is why he can no longer shoot his gun reliably. Back in Oliver's office, Renee tells him that Special Agent Watson has released a persons of interest list, and William is on it. Oliver vows to do his best to make sure she never gets to question his son. While discussing with Renee whether William lied to an FBI agent, Felicity messages him saying she has Anatoly's location again. Team Arrow converges on an abandoned transport yard. At the shipyard, the team begins fighting the Bratva thugs. Dinah starts to get choked from behind, but Diggle hesitates with his gun, forcing Dinah to save herself. Oliver manages to reach Anatoly and the hostage, and she shoots the hostage with an arrow containing the antidote. Once Anatoly learns about the cure, he shoots the hostage through the chest, killing him. When confronted about his turn toward villainy, Anatoly tells Oliver he's still a good man, pointing out that he had every opportunity to bomb William's school or take William hostage, and he chose not to. Oliver accuses him of leaking the photo as the Green Arrow to the press, and Anatoly denies this. After letting Anatoly go, Oliver agrees to meet with Agent Watson. He tells her he will open up every aspect of his life to her, with the sole exception of William. In an interview, another agent rushes in and turns on the TV. The news anchor reports that they have received confirmation that the leaked photograph was digitally doctored. At Felicity's place, she and Chris continue discussing who could have framed Oliver. They also talk about starting a business together focused on coding and tech development. Back at HQ, Diggle approaches Dinah about the shipyard incident. He makes her that he's compromised and says he'll come clean to Oliver and see how it goes. Oliver walks into William's room and he's playing video games. He apologizes for making a promise he couldn't keep, admitting his son was right. Oliver reiterates he will do everything in his power to make sure William never ends up an orphan because of his vigilantism. The two end up playing the video game together. At RHQ, Oliver stands looking at his suit on a mannequin. Diggle walks in, and Oliver asks him to start preparing to take over as the Green Arrow, citing his desire to protect his son. Oh, that's sweet. So anyway, let's take a look at some trivia from this episode. Oliver name drops Bruce Wayne at a press conference regarding him dressing up as a superhero at night. In the DC Comics, Bruce Wayne is a iconic hero known as Batman, the protector of Gotham City, and vigilante, dressed like a bat who fights against evil and strikes terror to hearts of criminals everywhere. Batman is also a founding member of the Justice League and a teammate of Oliver's Green Arrow. The title of the episode possibly refers to the reference, which is the brainchild of Stephen Amell. Amell was surprised that it made it to the final cut of the episode, even though the original script was supposed to have mentioned another famous individual. Amell originally reached out to Greg Berlanti about getting a Batman reference on the show. Berlanti then suggested that he should get permission from current DC Entertainment Chief Creative Officer Geoff Johns. It was only during a conversation at the 2017 DC Comics Comic-Con meeting in San Diego between Amell, Johns, Warner Brothers Entertainment CEO Kevin Tsujihara, Warner Brothers Television President Peter Roth, and Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment President Diane Nelson that Tsujihara finally gave the permission to Johns, Berlanti, and eventually to Amell. After hearing Python, Kurt asks whether Felicity Smoke is referring to a supervillain when she talks about the programming language Python. In the DC Comics, Python is a supervillain and the enemy of Sandman. Like the previous episode Fallout, this episode contains another Injustice 2 Easter egg, which includes Oliver and William making references to the game, while DLC characters like Black Manta and Mortal Kombat character Sub-Zero, also known as Kuai Lang, were performing their respective moves off screen. Quintus quipped Oliver, I didn't photograph of you in Flagrante de Arrow, in Blazing Arrow. It's a play on the Latin phrase in Flagrante Delicto, which translates to in Blazing Offense. Refers to when a perpetrator is caught in the act during the commission of a crime. Tetrodotoxin is a poison in fungu pufferfish that makes it toxic to humans unless prepared a specific way. This first episode of Arrow not to feature a flashback storyline in any capacity. And now let's take a look at some goofs. When Oliver refuses to allow Samantha Watson to question William, she replies, "You aware that telling an FBI agent how to conduct their investigation is obstruction of justice? In reality, it is not. Officers are required to allow his son to be interviewed unless a subpoena has been issued. If anything, an FBI agent in this context would threaten a subpoena rather than an obstruction of justice charge. A photo does not need to be created with a digital camera to be printed with an inkjet printer. It really needs to have been converted into a digital file." Huh. So I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, it does kind of make you wonder how Oliver's going to deal with this whole media thing and stuff. So yeah. So overall, I give Tribute 3 arrowheads out of 5. Anyway, we take the final episode of the day, Next of Kin. So until then, in the words of the Green Arrow, you have failed this city.